The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Admiral Kane stepped forward to address the assembly. Representatives from 100 worlds leaned forward in their seats, their various forms of sensory organs focused on the human officer who stood before them, with an expression carved from stone. "The Dominion destroyed our colony at New Haven," Kane said, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. 3 million souls. Gone. The crystalline ambassador from Vega chimed softly, a sound of sympathy. "The Terran loss is grievous, Admiral. But surely you understand that challenging the Dominion means extinction. Their Armada numbers 10,000 ships." Kane's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. 10,000! Yes, we counted them too. The chamber erupted in confused murmurs. The insectoid delegate from the hive worlds clicked rapidly. "Then you comprehend the futility of resistance. The Dominion's Armada has conquered every species that dared oppose them. Even united, our combined fleets number barely half their strength." "You misunderstand," Kane replied, pulling up a holographic display that materialized in the center of the chamber. "We're not asking for your ships. We're warning you to stay out of our way." The display showed Earth's orbital shipyards, and the collective gasp that followed echoed through the chamber like a physical force. Where once there had been 12 construction platforms, now there were hundreds. The space around humanity's homeworld swarmed with activity. Massive frames of warships in various stages of completion, stretching as far as the sensors could detect. "Impossible," breathed the elder from Proxima. "The resources alone would bankrupt a dozen star systems." "Humans have an interesting relationship with impossible," Kane said. "When the Dominion first appeared 50 years ago, we watched them subjugate world after world. We took notes. We learned. And most importantly, we prepared. The hologram shifted, showing mining operations across the Sol system. Asteroids were being consumed whole by massive automated harvesters. Jupiter's moons had been transformed into sprawling industrial complexes. Mars itself had been hollowed out, its entire crust converted into a shipyard that defied comprehension. Every human colony received the same directive after first contact with the Dominion. Kane continued. Build laws, every asteroid became a foundry, every moon a factory, every citizen a contributor to the war effort we knew would one day come. The aquatic representative from Ocean rippled with disbelief. But the energy requirements alone would be astronomical. No species can sustain such production. Mercury, Kane said simply, and the image changed again. The innermost planet of Sol had been transformed into a massive solar collector. Its entire surface covered in energy panels that fed directly into a network of transmission stations. Turns out parking a power plant next to a star provides quite a bit of energy. The council members exchanged glances, their various forms of communication creating a cacophony of whispers, clicks, and harmonics. The eldest member, a being of pure energy from the Nebula Collective, pulsed thoughtfully. "Even so, Admiral, ships require crews. The Dominion commands millions of warriors." This time Kane did smile. "The Dominion makes a critical error. They believe in conquest through fear and overwhelming force. Humans, however, believe in something else entirely." He paused. "We believe in spite." The hologram shifted once more, showing recruitment centers across human space. Lines of volunteers stretched for kilometers. Men and women of every age, background, and profession stood waiting to enlist. The images showed factories where children assembled components, elderly citizens managing logistics, and entire cities converted to support the war machine. When word of New Haven reached Earth, volunteer rates increased by 3,000%, Kane said. "We had to turn people away, not because we didn't want them, but because we literally ran out of ships to put them in. So we built more ships. How many?" Asked the mechanical intelligence from the binary systems, its calculated voice betraying a hint of awe. "The first Terran Armada consists of 15,000 vessels," Kane replied. "It launched yesterday." The chamber exploded into chaos. Delegates stood, sat, or performed whatever their species' equivalent of shock might be. The Vegan ambassador's crystalline form rang like a bell. 15,000? But that would mean you've surpassed even the Dominion." "Oh no," Kane said, raising his hand for silence. "You misunderstand again. I said the first Armada. The second Terran Armada launches next week. 20,000 ships. If the chamber had been chaos before, now it descended into absolute pandemonium. The elder from Proxima stood on all 6 legs. 35,000 warships? No species in galactic history has ever fielded such a force. Kane's expression hardened. The Dominion made 3 mistakes. First, they assumed humans would cower like the others. Second, they gave us 50 years to prepare. And third, they killed our children. The display changed one final time, showing tactical projections of the coming battle. The Dominion fleet, mighty as it was, found itself surrounded by human vessels emerging from hyperspace at coordinates that shouldn't have been possible to calculate. We reverse-engineered their hyperdrive technology, Kane explained. Improved it. Then we did the same with their weapons, their shields, their tactical doctrines. Every victory they achieved against other species became a lesson for us. Every transmission they sent, we intercepted and decoded. Every weakness they didn't know they had, we cataloged. The ocean representative undulated nervously. But surely the Dominion will detect your fleet movements. Their intelligence network spans the galaxy. They already have, Kane confirmed. In fact, we're counting on it. Right now, the Dominion is gathering their entire armada at their forward base near the Sagittarius Arm. They think they're preparing to crush an upstart rebellion. And instead they're walking into a trap 50 years in the making. Kane deactivated the hologram. The 3rd Terran Armada is already in position, hiding in the cosmic background radiation. 40,000 ships waiting for the signal. The silence that followed was absolute. Finally, the energy being from the Nebula Collective pulsed slowly. 75,000 ships. You've built 75,000 warships in secret. Oh, we're not done building, Kane said. The 4th through 10th Armadas are currently under construction. We estimate another 100,000 ships within the next solar year. The insectoid delegate's compound eyes glittered. This is madness. Even if you succeed, the cost in lives will be catastrophic. Kane's voice dropped to barely above a whisper, yet it carried to every corner of the chamber. 3 million souls at New Haven, children, families, artists, scientists, dreamers. The Dominion turned them to ash to make a point. They wanted to show the galaxy that humanity would kneel like all the rest. He straightened his uniform and looked each delegate in the eye, or whatever equivalent they possessed. Humans have a saying, mess with the bull, you get the horns. The Dominion wanted to make us tremble. They succeeded. We trembled with rage. Now they're about to learn why the Geneva Conventions weren't written to protect humans from aliens, but to protect humans from themselves. The Admiral turned to leave, then paused at the doorway. The Galactic Council has 24 hours to evacuate any assets from Dominion space. After that, we recommend you stay very, very far away. Things are about to get extremely human in this sector of the galaxy. As Kane departed, the Council chamber remained frozen in stunned silence. On every screen, tactical displays showed the massive human fleets moving into position, surrounding Dominion space like antibodies converging on an infection. The crystalline ambassador finally broke the silence with a harmonic whisper that carried both awe and terror. They turned their entire civilization into a weapon. The elder from Proxima nodded slowly, watching the human armadas advance. The Dominion wanted to make an example of humanity. Instead, they reminded the galaxy why Earth's children once split atoms to end wars, reached their moon with primitive rockets out of sheer determination, and survived on a death world through pure stubborn refusal to die. As the Council watched, the first human fleet dropped out of hyperspace above the Dominion forward base, then the second, then the third. The Dominion Armada, mighty and terrible, suddenly looked very small indeed. The galaxy held its breath and learned a valuable lesson that day. Never, ever, make humanity angry enough to work together.